Hello and welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Today I'm going to show you a very simple scalping strategy. You only need the Bollinger Bands and an exponential moving average. And really that's it on the 1 minute candlesticks chart. Before I get started, I just want to make sure that you're not just following somebody's trading strategy. I want you to have a plan. And if you'd like some help putting together a trading or investing plan, I do offer coaching. For the coaching, you can email me at davidmodell@gmail.com. Let's take a look at tradingview.com. I've got the US dollar against the Japanese yen up here with the 1 minute candlestick chart. All these candles represent 1 minute of price action each. And you can try this out. It doesn't have to be with currency pairs. You could try it out with stocks or Bitcoin or whatever. Just please be aware this does not work 100% of the time, does not work perfectly. So there are no guarantees here. I recommend testing it out with demo or virtual trading first. Do not commit any real capital or real money to this. Test it out first. Make sure it works before you even consider trying it out. And then if you do choose to try it out with real money, use very small amounts of money and respect your stop losses at all times. Have an exit strategy. So I've got the Bollinger Bands up here, as you can see. So you got the upper Bollinger Band line in green here, also in green, the lower Bollinger Band line. And this might look like the midline, but it's not, because check it out. I removed the midline, right? That brown line there, the 20-period simple moving average, that's usually there for the Bollinger Bands. I went on TradingView here, and I clicked on Settings for the Bollinger Bands, and I unchecked the basis line. It's gone, okay? And I replaced it with something else. I replaced it with a 9-period EMA, 9-period exponential moving average, okay? And that is in blue. I made it right there, okay? So you only need two things really, Bollinger Bands and the 9 EMA on the 1 minute candlestick chart. You don't have to get rid of the Bollinger Bands midline if you don't want to, but it might be a little bit distracting because you'll have two lines pretty close to each other. Not exactly the same though, but pretty close, and that can get confusing. So I like to keep things as simple as possible whenever possible. So what's the idea here? Well, the idea is that you want the candle, you want a 1 minute candlestick to close above the 9-period EMA. Okay, so let me go in a little bit right here, and let me try to make it a little bit easier to see. Hopefully you can see that. All right, it closed. I know it's kind of small, but this one closed above the 9 EMA. So you would have taken a long position. You would have bought there. Because we're going to go with the trend. Okay, if the candles are below this blue line, the 9 EMA, then the trend is downward and you don't want to buy there. In fact, you might want to sell, and we're going to talk about that. You might want to sell whatever you have, okay? Because then the trend is trending downwards if it's below the line. But once it closes above the line, then you can get in and you ride it until you hit that upper Bollinger Band, and then you get out of your position, you sell. Okay, this is scalping, all right? This is not long term, and you're not going for large amounts of money. You're trying to make small amounts of money over and over again. And you're also going to have to accept small losses along the way as well. So you would have bought here, sold here, that's scalping. Quick win, all right? You don't even have to wait long. We're talking about if these are 1 minute each, you would have bought, and then 2 minutes later, you would have gotten out for a small gain, okay? Then you wait until it's below the line again, but then pops back above the line. Boom, there it is, okay? It's above that trend line there. It's above the 9-period EMA. You would have gotten in, and bam, okay, 5 minutes later or so, maybe 6 minutes later, actually right here, you would have gotten out. As soon as it hits that upper Bollinger Band, you're out for another scalp trade, okay? Now, again, if it's below that EMA line, you just stay out, okay? So like all here, you would have stayed out. You would have avoided all this downdraft, all this downturn here, okay? But then check it out, popped above it again, and then you sell here. You buy here, you sell here. Now, what if it pops above it, but then goes below the line? Pops above the 9 EMA and then goes below it, you just sell. Take a small loss. And it's probably going to be a really small loss. I mean, look, you would have bought here, and then sold 2 minutes later for not much less. Very small loss there, okay? Make sure you're using a broker, by the way, that has very small fees and commissions, okay? Because this is something you're doing every few minutes, as you can see. And if the commissions are high, you can get eaten up by commissions and fees. You don't want that, okay? So if there's a free or almost free broker out there, but make sure that you get good fills on your trades and that kind of thing, okay, and good customer service. There are other things to consider, not just the low fees and commissions, but that's a big part of it if you're going to be a scalper, all right? So if you'd have gotten in here, and then as soon as it goes back below, if it goes back below, then you just get out and wait for the next opportunity, which came literally a minute later, and then you would have done pretty well with that, okay? So after it pops above, one of two things will happen. It'll either go back below the blue line and you get out for a small loss, hopefully, okay? Now, no guarantees. There's no guarantee it's going to be a small loss. It could be a big loss, because who knows? Maybe the next candle would have gapped down way down here, okay? All right, it's always possible, a big gap down. You never know. And you might end up getting out, buying here and getting out way down there. So there's always the possibility of a big loss, okay? But on the 1 minute candlestick chart, usually, not always, usually the candles are pretty connected to each other. You don't see a whole, like look at this. Do you see any really big gaps? Do you see a big space between the two, any two candles? Not really. They're all pretty continuous. You can get a big red candle, sure, okay, that's possible, but you're probably going to get out without any really big gaps, usually most of the time, not always, if you use 1 minute candles, all right? So this is a pretty good example. You would have bought here, sold here, no big deal, small loss, right? You made it up very soon afterwards with a nice gain, okay? Went below, you would have avoided all this downturn here. You wouldn't even be in there because it's below that trend line, that EMA, the 9 EMA. You'd have avoided all this and wait until it closes above it. Did it close above it here? It's not really clear. Definitely closed above it here. You would have gotten in here, and look what happened. Boom, right up, up, up. And there's a wick on this one. But let's say, if you're really paying attention, you can get out during the wick. You don't have to wait until it closes above. You could just wait until the price is touching that top band and you get the heck out, because this is scalping. You're not in this for the long haul, okay? And you would have had nice gain there, okay? So that's the idea here, all right? Be aware, there might be big downturns. From time to time, it's going to happen, but most of the time, your losses are probably going to be small, and so that's the beauty of this. But you have to be prepared to take a lot of small losses and hopefully bigger gains. What I like about this mostly is that you're avoiding the big downturns, not always, but oftentimes, all right? I hope this was helpful to you. Just a quick scalping strategy. You only need two things to do it: Bollinger Bands and the trend line with the EMA, all right? But have a trading plan, have an investing plan. You don't want to do something just because somebody in a video told you about a strategy. You want to have an overall plan. I do assist people with that. If you want coaching for that, my email address is davidmodell@gmail.com. I want to thank you for watching and listening. I will talk to you again soon.